So we have a similar kind of situation here. If you go back, so there is a frames concept here. You can see frames. So in the frames, you have a nested frames, you have iframe. So first I'll show you nested frames. First we clicked on the frame and then we are clicking on the nested frames. See, then you will get a frames concept here. See the left frame, middle frame, right frame, bottom frame. So basically this is the top frame. Top frame again divided into 3 frames. And this is the bottom frame. So basically 2 frames are there first. Under that, top frame divided into 3 frames again. So how to work with these frames? So I want to get this text. From middle frame, I want to get the text, that middle text. So how can you get that middle text? So this is the overall test case. We need to do that. So let's go and do the same test case. So I'm going to copy this. I just need only before all, after all test methods. One test method is enough. So I don't need to repeat, everything. There is no multiple test cases here. So what I'm going to do, I'll just copy this. I'll take only before all only. So I don't need any other before each. Heroku app. So frames test. Okay. So frames test. So everything is same. Okay, everything is same. So you will declare a driver global variable, web driver weight global variable, and then before all you will launch the browser, maximize the window, implicit weight, Heroku app, and explicit weight object creation, and so wait for the title, and you are very accepting the title. Then I need to click on frames link, right? Frames link. Just put here frames link. Frames link you are clicking. So then I don't need this. I can put this entire thing, this verification if I want. So in my test method. So I can write in my test method. So I can say frames test. Okay. So frames test, you can put that. And started executing the frames test. So now, so once you reach this page, right? Once you reach this page, so you have to verify this page title. Again, similar to if you go back, and you can see there is a slash frames will be there, right? See slash frames. Again, verify this frames. So this is the one. Just URL I am providing. Then you get alert no frames heading, frame space heading, frame space heading. So you can just give frame space heading. Frame space heading and get text, and you just giving frames. It's a capital letter. So this text I'm looking for that, but make sure this is correct. Let's go and see that this heading is correct or not. See, this is the correct, right? You have the same even here also. In your code also you have same. Okay. So then this verification is done, but we don't need this verification. So you can remove that. So now you need to click on. So what is the element? Nested frames you have to click. So I'll use a partial link text. Okay, let me use partial link text. So partial link text. I can just give. So partial link text is also one locator. So basically you are giving a link name and clicking that. Partial link. So click on nested frames link. So then it will go to next page, wait dot until expected conditions. So maybe switch to frame to be available and switch to it. You can do that, right? You can do that, frame to be available and switch to it. But I'm not going to do here, frame to be available and switch to it. Yeah, if you want, you can do that also. So what I'm going to do here is, first I'll fetch number of frames, okay? Let's fetch number of frames. So how can you get that? List. So web element. So frames list equal to driver dot find elements. So by dot tag name frame tag. So all lowercase will be there. Tags will be generally the lowercase. Okay, frame, not frames. Frame tag. FRAME frame tag will be there. I'll show you that. So in the HTML, so you can just print it. So import the list. So the list will be in the java.util package. It should show. If it is not showing, just go and import it. You know that import. So java.util dot list. That's it. So you should be able to remember these things. By practice only it will should be possible. So practice more Java concepts, so you will get that. I can print number of frames. So you can just simply say that frames list dot size method. That will give you number of frames in the web page. Observe this. So click on this and go there. Maybe you can wait for this URL. That's how you will come to know, right? You reach this page. Some wait, no, so is mandatory because you're moving from this nested frames page to next page. So what I'm going to do, I'll put a wait dot until expected conditions dot URL contains. Okay, so that is the, so how to wait for, if you're moving from one page to other page, always make sure you put a wait commands. That's a condition. Your condition is you wait for the next page URL. So the time whatever you mention for this expected condition only applicable for this line. but implicit weight is for the entire line of codes. Global, it's a global. Implicit weight is a global for all lines of code, but this one is only for that line. That condition is satisfied, and that time won't be applicable for the next lines. So now I got all the list and I am printing. Now I need to switch to the top frame. Sir, where are the frames? First show me that frames. Let's go and see that frames, right? This is my system becomes very slow. So can you see this? Expand this. See that frame tag, frame tag. When you put a cursor on this frame tag, top one is highlighting. When you put a cursor on this second frame, the bottom one is highlighting. So now I want to switch to this frame. This frame name is there. You can see that name. I'm going to use this name. So name locator, I'm going to use to switch to that. Switch to the top frame. So what is the code? Driver dot switch to method dot frame of, so the value top frame. Then switch to the, then if you want to get all the frames, I'll get child frames, all the child frames. So I can say fetch all the child frames in the web page. Child frames list. Child frames list dot size. So verify messages, and we don't have any message here. Okay, so we just want to get all the frames, and I need to see when you expand this, see document HTML, see one more frame set, again expand this frame set, you have 3 frames, then frame, and you have to give frame middle. So I want to switch to this frame middle, and I need to get that frame inside whatever the text is there. So that's my intention. See, so div id content is there, I will use that, and I'll get this text and asset that. So let's go and do that. I want to switch to the child frame, to the middle frame. Okay, so driver dot switch to method dot frame, and just give the frame locator, frame middle. Now you do the what are the action you want to do. So guess, so you already have that. So we don't need these methods. Even this clearing cookies also I don't need. Okay, so now fetch the middle text. So fetch the middle text. So to fetch the middle text, so first you get that middle text. Okay, so web element, or I can write directly string. So middle text equal to driver dot find element. So by dot id to id value. So what is the id value? It was content something, right? It is a content. So content dot get text. And then, so you assert it. Assertions dot assert equals. Assert equals. So the middle text comma. I given a expected value, actual value. I need to give expected. So expected is middle. You can see here it is there that this is the one. Middle all cap letters there I'm giving, or you get it from this tag. So that's it, and assertion also done. Okay, all assertion are done. If you want to go back, let's go back. So you can navigate back, right? You can navigate back to previous pages. So you can switch back to previous pages first. So how can you switch back to previous frame? Switch back to previous frame. So simply driver dot switch to method dot default content. You can from current frame to previous frame you can navigate with driver dot switch to method dot default content. And if you want navigate back, navigate to previous page. So navigate to previous page. Okay, navigate to previous page. Driver dot navigate method dot back method. That's it. Okay, so these are all the functions. See, everything calling functions. Okay, let's run this, then we'll see. This function also you don't need, you can delete that function. See, first top frames are 2, the child frames inside the top frame is 3. Just with the frame tag you got all of them. So this is the how we can fetch all of the frames. Okay, so next let's get any questions.
In real time also frames are visible like this in the pattern of borders.
No, what is the border? This one?
Yeah.
No, it's not like that. You have to look for this frame tag.
Okay. Hmm.
Won't be like that. So let me show you one more.
Yeah,
The
well, I
real
mean, when we get all the frames from the page, it will get 2 or 3. From that, how do we identify there are internal frames by seeing the HTML
by
content only?
HTML code.
Okay.
Only by HTML code only. So other than that, nothing. You have to refer only HTML code. See, this is inside the frame. Can you see here? iframe.
Yes.
So if you want to type here, you cannot type directly here. You have to switch to this iframe first, then you can type it here. Otherwise so I'll show you that. So directly take this rediff only, okay? Let's take a rediff only. I don't want to show you any other, but I'll show you here directly rediff only. So let's do, I'll take this this code, enter code repeats, but yeah, so I'll just reuse the annotations. So and code also you can reuse. Internal frames. Maybe you can write that website Heroku app iframes concept you can write, but I'm showing here Rediff internal frames test. Okay. So just take the URL, home page. Because here I don't need a before each and before all, only one test. There are no multiple tests. There is no duplicate code for every test before you need to execute. That's why I don't need a before each. So before all is enough. Before all will execute only one time. And then all my test case will execute. So this one is the title. What is the title? You can give ready contains, right? So the very big one title, right? How do you find your title? Go to head tag, look for the title tag. See, very big one. I can just give only partial. So this is the, I can give a partial one. Okay. And then I can give this partial.
We need to give title contains.
Oh yeah, this is the title contains you have to give. Because it's not title is. Because we have taken a partial title. So here also asset equals doesn't work out. So what we need to give? Asset true and then change this to contains. That is the how you can do the you will get the total driver dot get title will give you the total title. In that rediff mail word is there or not, you are checking. If this is going to return true and this is already true, true and true, then your test this line will pass. Otherwise this line will fail. If this inside one returns false, true and false, so this test case will fail here. Okay, clear? So that's the all. Now my test case, internal test, internal frame test. See that internal frame test started executing the internal frame test. So first you need to identify the frame element, right? So I don't need this also. Even I just need, if you want number of frames, you can get that number of frames. This also I don't need. I'll get the number of frames, internal frames list. So it's a iframe. So how many iframes are there in this entire browser driver? And all iframes it will fetch and stores here. So internal frames list dot size, number of internal frames. Next, so I'll switch to internal frame. Switch to internal frame, and you have to write. I'm going to do, basically I told you internal frame you have to identify. So I'm going to show you with a index. So how many internal frames are there? First we need to see that. Maybe you can search also, right? It's showing very big, but I'll take this ID first. Identify that first. Let me show you how to identify the internal frames. So web element, iframe element equal to driver dot find element. So by dot id and id value. So then internal frame element, you can pass it here. Just a web element you need to pass, not string. Now I'm passing the what type of this frame method is accepting web element type argument, not string type. Before we pass it string type. Now I switch to this frame, but before switching I want to type. I'll comment out and I'll see that. Okay. First I want to type that. Yeah, we'll switch and then I'll comment out. Okay, so then we'll see. Type the value in search edit box. So what is that search edit box? So this is the enter company name or mutual fund name. So I'm going to get this edit box address. Class is there. Let me use a class. Okay, I'm not going to use ID. I'm going to use class. So let's use class. See driver dot find element. So by dot class name. See, I have used class. There is no gap in between the words. All are one only. That case you can use class. If there is a composite word, don't use class name. So use XPath or CSS. You use the class attribute in the CSS and XPath functions. Build the construct the XPath or CSS and use that. If you want to use a class name, it should be a single word, no spaces between the words, like this. Get quote input, right? No spaces. So that's how it should be. Then you can use a class name locator. I can say, okay, so this is the one of the mutual fund name I am just giving. Okay. So whether it is typing or not, you can see that, right? Maybe you can put some wait time. So I'll just put some wait time. Thread dot sleep is 5 seconds. You can keep for our observation purpose. So let's run this test case. So with the frame, after switching, whether we are typing, whether it's typing or not, we need to see. Right? It got typed DSP BlackRock. Okay. So now let's comment out this. I'm not switching to the frame. Even we don't know, right, whether the frame is there or not. We'll just type. Okay. There is a edit box, input box, text box. I want to type. You will directly write this line of code, but you won't do switching to the frame. Now what will happen? So if you don't switch, what will happen? I want to show you now. If you don't switch, what will happen? Whether it is going to type or not. it typing? So you
No.
got an error. So what is the error?
No such frame exception.
No such element exception. No such element. Because I am not using any frame here. So you won't get a no such frame because it is looking for this element. Okay? Because this line is commented already. If you give a wrong address, then you will get a no such frame. Okay? Your frame identification, if you give wrong, then it will say no such frame exception. But I am identifying this line. So you will get a where no such element exception. So it is saying no such element, unable to locate element. How do you know which line? How do you debug? What is your debug statements? How do you debug that? Sharif, how do you debug? What is your approach? You got an exception now. How do you debug which line that is an error?
Can we go, if you go down, there is a, it will show the line here, 55 line.
So this is the line.
Package name.
See, here is the package name. In the you have to see in the log error, not here. Okay? How do you know that?
Yeah.
This is the one you have to say in the log. See, package name, your class name, and your method name, and the line number. You can see this. You're talking about this one?
Yes, I'm talking about.
Yeah. So here, this is the one. So you click on that, and it will highlight them. See, your cursor takes you there. Okay. So that's how you can understand what is the mistake. So it's not able to find out where is that, because there is a frame inside this element is there. If you want to identify an element frame inside, first you have to identify that element. So now, so I'm switching to that frame first. So you can switch to the frame by ID, by name, by class, right? Now I switch to the frame, then it is doing that. But I can switch even by index. Sorry guys. I can switch to the frame based on the index, the first index. That means first frame. That's the index number. If multiple frames are there, you can give 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. So I have a one frame, so I'm giving 0. So let's see whether it is going to work or not. Even I have shown you can switch to the frame by string locator, you can switch to the frame by web element, you can switch to the frame by integer index. All three types are covered. See, it is typing properly. Okay, so this is how to handle frames. Number of internal, oh, there are 2 frames. Okay, the 2 are there. So that's all about how to handle frames, how to handle alerts. So these are the common interview questions. Make sure you explain them. So the code I have given, so same code you explain to them. Clear? So with that, enough with the JUnit. Tomorrow we'll start the TestNG framework. Don't miss this TestNG framework. And TestNG only will use in the real time. Most of the companies will follow TestNG with Java. If they're using a Java programming language, they will go with TestNG Java. TestNG framework only they will use mostly.